Ba 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 doodle doo boo boo doodle doo 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 ba ba dee ding dee doodle doo doo doo. Halloween edition. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's me, Curt Covert. It's a little janky today because I'm set up at my kitchen table to try to set things out to give you a look at what's been going on over here. Um, but delighted to see you guys. It's been a while again since I was out in front of you. I don't. It's just been crazy over here. But as a result, lots of really cool stuff to show you. So. First of all, I hope you had a great Halloween yesterday. My wife and I actually did something pretty cool. We did a digital game out in a neighboring town, New Haven, where we were actually walking the city, kind of like Pokemon Go. But it was an Alice in Wonderland adventure where you were trying to solve riddles and play games and try to find Alice before the Queen deprived her of her head. So it was really cool. And of course, it was really interesting. You had to kind of show up in costume. And there were like 200 people out there on the green and walking through town in Alice in Wonderland outfits, playing this game, which was pretty cool, I thought. So that was one of the things that we were up to for spooky season. Of course, as you guys, we certainly had Night Cage out and played it with some candlelight and the spooky music. Hey, Dickie, I see you out there. How you doing? Yeah, it's been a fun time, and I've also been enjoying. Maybe you guys have seen this too. Lots of different shows on for spooky season as well, and we have been enjoying the Cabinet of Curiosities from Guillermo del Toro. Man, it's kind of like this little episodic thing. It's almost like Twilight Zone or Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and lots of really cool stories. Only one that I thought kind of went clunk for me, but all of them were pretty fun. So if you have not seen that, it's still the season, I say. So anyway, so we are going to be talking about a bunch of stuff today. And eventually, I really want to get into taking a look at our new game, Tesseract. That is up on Kickstarter right now, and it's got some really interesting mechanics that I really think set it apart. So I want to kind of go through some of that and just give you some insights into what I think is exciting about this game. Hey, Dave, how are you? But before I'm going to do that, we just got excellent news, which is that this guy, Boop, has just arrived at our warehouse. So if you guys have not seen Boop out in the wild at a show with us, it looks adorable, right? It's cats. And you're like, oh, cute little family game or for kids. Except it's not really. It is actually a pretty intense strategy game by Scott Brady. Kind of like almost like a nice runner-up to Shobu. It is a pretty thinking, almost chess-like strategy game, and it's adorable. But of course, the fun part is that Oh, you know what? Let's do an actual unboxing. Let me bring you closer. Tip, 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 tip. Is this going to work? I think it might. Close enough. Okay. Can you guys see that? I think so. Okay. All right. So let me open the box up. And of course, the rule book, which, by the way, there's not much here. It is pretty quick to learn. It takes like 30 seconds. And the first thing that you'll notice is it's got a quilted game board. And yeah, that's like, they're actually little puffy little squares. And it's just like adorable. And it's got the fishbone and cat paw, pattern on it. So that's really, really fun. Dave says Boop is probably his most anticipated game of the year. Well, Dave, you are not alone. This, by the way, This, by the way, has been the most pre-ordered game we have ever offered in 19 years of being in the industry. It's insane how much people have been like, oh my God, boop, the kitties and but of course also a really great game. So there you go. By the way, happy anniversary to us. Halloween Day was actually our 19th anniversary in the industry. We had our first game, Hex hit our warehouse on Halloween Day back in 2003. So yay for us. Anyway, all right, back to boot. Going back down. Now, the interesting thing is, as we take this off, inside, of course, we've got our pieces. Let's just get those out, because what happens is the box itself flips over and becomes the playing surface. Now, the blanket goes on top of the box, and there, now you are playing on top of this cute little bed that the kittens are going to be jumping on and bouncing other kittens out of, right? Adorable. So let's see what the little pieces look like. All right, so we've got our gray chunky cats. I'll get those up a little bit closer so you can see them. Look at how adorable, right? And they're super chunky and thick. All right, so there we go. And of course, we've got our little gray kittens as well. Get those closer. Yeah, nice. There he is, cute. All right, so that goes on there. And then, of course, the other player's got orange cats. So, once again, our little orange big guy. And here we are with the orange kittens. Adorable. And of course, they're painted both sides. So, they have little tails and other fun little details. So it's just adorable. These are wooden, 32 pieces in all that sits on top of this wonderful board. And now, obviously, the gameplay itself, like I said, is pretty darn simple. And I might as well just show you how it works because, we're right here. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to line up 3 little kittens in a row. And when you do, hooray, you graduate them. They come off of the board completely. And instead, into your pool of 8 pieces, you now get 3 adult cats. And then what you want to do is you want to line up 3 adult cats in a row, and that's how you're going to win. But it's not that simple, and here's why. This is the trick of the game. Let's just set up some stuff. There we go. All right. Now, it looks like I could put a piece right here and make a row of 3, except I can't. And that's because when I go here, it bounces all the other cats around it one space away. So it goes boop, boop. And I did not create a row of 3. I just bounced cats around on the bed. And if I go here, I'd be bouncing these cats right off of the bed. They go rejoin my pool. So this game is ridiculously hard trying to get these cats lining up. I always like to say it's like herding cats. It really is. And it's delightful. It's thinky. And honestly, one of my favorite moments as I show this game is, obviously there are plenty of people who see the cover and like, cats, oh, I have to play. And there's always like some folks who get like dragged, like, all right, I'll play the dumb cat game. And then, so they start playing, and about turn 3, all of a sudden they just go, well, give me a minute. I have to think about this move. Don't rush me. Because it really is a great strategy game. So kudos to Scott Brady, because it is an amazing game. It did arrive in our warehouse, like I said, really just today. So that means that it's going to be out at retailers over the course of like the next 2-3 weeks. So you will see those pretty soon. And of course, you can order it on smirkandagger.com as well. Anyway, couldn't be more excited. We ordered So many of these games. Every time I went to a show, I had to keep on raising my order because my God, we were just inundated with people like, oh, I have to have it, and retailers kept on saying, yeah, keep on ordering it because so we filled the container. That we ordered 12,000 of them, and we're still being told that's nowhere near enough. So anyway, that is Boop. I'm pretty excited about it, as you can tell, and that is going to be coming your way very, very soon. So let's just put that aside for a moment. And now, Dickie says, I'll have to go Boop hunting in UK. Oh, yes. Well, again, probably 4 weeks before it gets out to the UK is my guess. Matus, hey, yes, of course I remember you. How you doing? Good to see you out there. Thanks for stopping by. We're going through some of the top news items of Smirk and Dagger. Now, we just took a look at Boop. I know a lot of people have been waiting for Behext as well. Behext, as many of you know, we had a little bit of a printing problem. We had to actually scrap what we were doing and restart all anew. So that game is going to be delayed. But right now it's on press. It's rolling nicely. And the printer just told us, yeah, it's probably 60 days out. So we will look to finish it January 1 and ship it out before Chinese New Year, which is early this year. So we had to make sure that we were going to hit that window to get it out before the country shuts down for a month, which I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to do that. Dickie says, yes. So family Christmas presents then. Yes, I think Boop would be excellent for that. And it really does. I think that's one of the things that retailers got so excited about was like, they were like, well, who couldn't I sell this to? There are like couples who come in the store, people who love cats, strategy gamers. Like it really appeals to so many people. So anyway, there we go with Boop. And I think Spill, I just heard, by the way, is like just about done fulfilling at this point. The UK people should be getting theirs, if they haven't already, like any day. So yay, because man, that was an absolute nightmare shipping. I can't even tell you how much sleep and hair I lost dealing with the fulfillment of the Spill. Not here in the US so much, but in all the other countries, nothing went smoothly. And so Dickie's like, yoo-hoo! Yes, I know. It's been painful for everyone. And I feel bad for the backers, but honest to God, our hands were like so tied. We could do nothing more than what we were doing, which was like, give us updates, tell us what's going on, how can we help, and just like spinning and spinning. So anyway, so let's see. Let's take a look then over at Tesseract. So I'm gonna have to move the whole screen and everything, so bear with me. La la la, sliding down. Okay, we're trying to frame this up so it works nicely. Okay, I think this is going to be close. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay. All right. So, for those who have not heard about Tesseract, as I mentioned, this is the Kickstarter we have live right now. It's doing pretty darn well so far. We are very excited about this one. It is another cooperative game, which I know is really, really strange for diehard Smirk and Dagger fans because, I mean, I never, ever thought I would do a co-op. I did 14 years of backstabbing exclusively, like nothing else. And I didn't even like co-ops, quite honestly. So I couldn't imagine that we would ever do one. And the fact that we've done like 3 in a row now, it's one, mind-boggling, but 2, really a testament to these particular games because the Spill, Night Cage, Tesseract, all of them are really interesting and gripping in ways that I don't know. I got a lot more out of them than I have some other co-op games. And in this case, Tesseract, this is, I think, truly one of one of the highlight co-ops, I think, for me, and I love to play it solo too. So let's take a look a little bit. Gonna tip down. People are done looking at me. All right, let me lift off the. This is actually how you load the dice in. There's a cardboard sleeve, which makes this process very simple. And there we go. So as you can see, this is the Tesseract, and it is a cube of 64 custom dice. Now, this is still a prototype. All these dice are stickered with the graphics. They will be actual conventional dice with, traditional etching in them. But they are 4 colors. And as we take a look, it's actually also on a rotating turntable. And it's in this, cool lab. Now, obviously, that's pretty nifty for table appeal, certainly. But it's also really a great thing in the game, like for gameplay. And that's one of the reasons I ended up adding this element, because so often people are like, looking around, because as the game progresses, more and more cubes are going to be coming off the Tesseract. And as they do, they're going to be like at different heights. And you're going to be scanning around the cube quite often. And this just makes it easier. Rather than having to crane your head, you can just spin the whole cube and figure out what the lowest die is and what dice are available to you. So, but what is it? Well, it is a cooperative dice manipulation game. So dice rolling is not a huge part of the game. It's pretty strategic. And what you are trying to do is you are trying to, through your actions, fill this containment matrix. Now, down here, you can see that there is, 1 through 6. As spacey and cool as these little icons look, these are really just the numerals 1 through 6. And you can just count the pips, and you can see, how they were designed. And James Fernhaber did a beautiful job on creating the graphics for this game. And I just love the dice. So, but there are 4 different colors, 6 different values, and you've got to completely fill that containment matrix in order to win. And of course, that has to happen before either all the cubes are gone from the Tesseract, or even worse, if too many breachers happen. But we'll get to that. Now, one of the things that I really like about this game is there are a lot of different actions you can take, and they really all center around the cubes. So one of the things that you can do on your turn is you can remove a die from the Tesseract. And when you do, it is placed in your lab on the value. You notice I didn't switch the value of that die. It goes right into my lab, one of my 6 different spaces I've got available, and it's there for me now to utilize. One of the things that I do want to talk about, though, is that, especially in like a 4-player game, like as people are constantly taking cubes, this thing starts to get depleted really, really quickly. And as we'll see in a minute, as they do get lower and lower, it's going to cause more problems for the players as well. But so that's one thing that you can do, is you can take cubes off of the Tesseract. And let's say I'll take this one, and then maybe I'll take this one. Now, you only have 3 actions per turn, but here, let's say I started a couple of them. Another action that I can take is I can adjust a cube. Now, adjusting a cube, if the value is 6, I can adjust it up or down 1. Well, in this case, it's a 6. I can't go up. So I can go down and make it now a 5. And that's going to be important for me, because as we see here, I've got now a run, a 4, 5, 6, all of different colors. Now, they can either be all the same colors or all different colors. But this is one of the ways that you can start containing cubes, which is how you're going to win the game. And to do that, once you've got like a run or a set, like if they're all 6s, that'd be fine too. But here I've got a run. And now with one of these cubes, I can contain just one of them and put it into the containment matrix. Now, these last two I can just either leave in my lab the way they are, um, in case I want to, like, pull another 5 and complete it again, or I can roll these dice. And when I do, they stay in my lab, and now their values 1 and 2. And because I rolled 2 dice, I'm going to end up drawing a level 2 card. Because 2 dice were rolled, I get a level 2 card. Yes, they start at level 2 and they go 3 to 4. And these become free actions that I can take, later in my turn. In this case, it's got a great power. I can invert a prime cube and a cube in my lab. Well, we didn't talk about prime cubes yet, but inverting is I can take a 2 and flip it upside down and make it a 5. As you know, it all equals 7, top to bottom on standard dice. So, but one of the things I was saying, it was, kind of a strategy tip. If people are constantly removing dice to kind of create those sets and runs, you're going to find out that this is going to really bottom out quickly. So one of the other actions you can do is you can transfer. And this is, I think, an underrated ability that people need to take more advantage of during the game. And it is transferring, giving a cube to another player into their lab. Or if you see one that you need, you can ask and say, hey, do you mind if I grab that cube and then put it over here in your lab? That is one of the actions you can take. And managing dice between players is a way you can stop dropping removing as many dice as quickly and really placing dice around where they need to go. Plus, there's lots of other things you're going to need to take care of, including trying to avoid having the Tesseract breach. So now, to help you do all that, you also have a character card. There we go. Now, the character card has 2 sections on it, both a kind of this always-on active ability and a unique action that just you can take. Now, in this case, our exogeologist says, when you contain and reroll cubes of the same value, draw a research card of the next higher rank. Well, that's really cool because, so if I had rolled 2 cubes and normally I'm going to get a blue card, well, these are pretty decent cards, but they are the lowest level. This character allows me to instead draw a yellow card, and these typically you'd only get if you rolled 3 dice, or if you take an action to study so you can trade up. This guy lets me do it immediately for freezies, and these are about twice as powerful as the blue cards. So here, wow, destroy a primed cube, which could really save us a lot of trouble later in the game, or take the lowest value prime cube, re-roll it, and place it in your lab. Both of those not only have you avoiding danger, but benefiting from it on top. So that would have been an excellent trade up. Now, the pink cards, by the way, are even more powerful. This one allows me to contain a cube from my lab just for a free action. That is huge in this game. Now, it's going to take you an action to trade up for it from a yellow card, but the study action for that reason is another very powerful and sometimes not used enough action that you can take. So always think about trading up those cards because that can be critical. All right, so now, again, everyone has a unique action, and so this one, return a cube from your lab to the Tesseract to take 2 cubes from the Tesseract. Right, so I might have like an off color or like something that isn't working. I can put this back on the Tesseract and now grab 2 things. Well, that could be really, really game-changing for me, especially if I'm going to end up putting cubes that are very low, because here's the problem. Every time you end up taking a cube off the Tesseract, we're getting lower and lower. You always have to, at the end of your turn, you're going to prime one. And that means you're finding the lowest height cube of the lowest value, if in case there's a tie. And then what you'd end up doing is you roll it and you place it in this primed area. The Tesseract is trying to get ready to explode. And it does that by causing breaches. If it hits 7, that is going to be game over. And as we start getting more and more cubes primed, they're going to start filling this area. Now, this is a danger when all of a sudden we get 3 of a given value. As soon as that happens, we come over here and the breach track goes up by 1. It starts at 0, it goes up to 7, and when it hits 7, again, that is game over. So you have to manage this area extremely tightly. That is one of the mistakes people will make early when they first start playing the game. They're so focused, I want to contain these cubes over here and win the game, and they forget that this is a threat that's going to make them lose. So you've got to manage this area really, really carefully. How do we do that? Well, just like I can take one of my own cubes and I can adjust it up or down a value, I can do the same over here in the primed area. So I can take this 2, I can make it a 1 for one of my actions during the turn. And I could take a second action to take a 1. If I adjust it down, it becomes actually a 0 in the primed area, and it's removed completely. That is one great way to get rid of cubes out here, things that are really threatening your end game. Of course, the other thing that you can do is if I ever have a contained cube that matches the exact same color and value in the primed area, by containing it, it will blow up one of those cubes out of here. And that's another great way to destroy these cubes and manage that threat. It's just an amazing game. So as you can see, really the only dice rolling we're doing is just when we prime cubes, when we take them off, we roll it and we see where they fall. Now, it might cause a threat, it might not, or a breach, or it might not. But most of the game is really strategic and really trying to figure out how to fill out this matrix. Now, that's relatively easy when it's wide open. But when this gets really filled in and you have like the blue 3 and the orange 1, it can get much trickier trying to figure out how you're going to do all that. So in any case, so one of the other things that I really do enjoy. Oh, hey there, Nate. How you doing? Good to see you out there. One of the things, all right, hold on. We have to go back in. The other thing is when you prime cubes, let's go back to this bottom cube here. You take the last cube out of here and you'll see something interesting. There is an icon that gets revealed on the Tesseract. All of these things are terrible and some are worse than others. This one is this is the nicest one. This one just says, go ahead, take a look at the lowest value cube of the lowest height and destroy it. Well, that just removes it from the game. Not great, but not the worst thing. Other times, it's going to cause you to say, oh, you know what? You have to go ahead and prime another one. That's 2 in a row. Well, that's terrible. That could cause another breach right there. And they get worse from there. So this disc, by the way, is something that there are several discs. So the game started with 2 discs, 2 sides, so lots of variation in difficulty. And we've already unlocked a 3rd disc, which now has a whole bunch of new icons, by the way, which has some really interesting effects, which are all like, on this new event key. But they, it might force you to re-roll all the cubes in every single lab, or prime cubes with even values, adjust up 1, and that can cause all kinds of horrific breaches. So it's really just fascinating. And one of the things that one of the reasons I love this game is that to me, co-ops, you want to have conversations as you're playing a co-op. You want to try to figure out how to beat this game. And so often You get like a quarterback situation, and one person really knows the game well or understands the math of the game, and basically says, "Well, here's what you all have to do," and you guys end up being kind of pawns on your turn rather than playing the game. Well, there is so much information in this game that one brain really has a hard time wrapping completely around it. Because why? Because everyone has two different abilities that they start with. Cool. And if you're a four-player game, that's 8 abilities around the table already. Then you're constantly going to be getting, all these research cards. So you'll have those in front of you as well. And it's all open information, but still, some of it's in front of you and some of it's across the table. Plus, just as you're looking around the Tesseract or taking a look at the primed area, um, you just have all these various opportunities for people to say, "Whoa, hey, hold on, before you do that." Like here's a great example. Like I'm so focused on containing my 2 into the matrix that I'm going to do it. And so someone says, "Well, actually, before you do that, why don't you take an action and take this 3, adjust it to a 2, so that when you actually contain that, you blow this up and reduce our risk." Cool. I didn't even see that. Thank you. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that. Or maybe I have a card that allows me to do that for free, make an adjustment in the primed area. But the point is that it's a game of real collaboration where everything that you're doing, there's no downtime to the game. You are constantly helping each other out, talking about each other's turns, because that's what you honestly need to do in order to win. The other thing that is amazing about this game is the solo game. This is probably one of my favorite games that has a solo mode. And the reason is that nothing gets pulled out of the game. You don't have to take any cards out. You're not changing any of the rules as you are playing. Instead, you're playing it as a 2-player game. And yes, you are managing 2 labs and 2 researchers, which is not really, too much a heavy load per se. It's easy to manage that back and forth. But what that still allows, by the way, is still allows the critical action of transferring cubes from one lab to another. And that is really, really important to maintain. So you need the 2 labs to do a really a successful game, and especially a solo one. The tricky part is, though, what you lose in a solo game is you lose all the insight and perspective of other people. When you've got a 4-player game, it's a matter of managing a whole bunch of different ideas and trying to get everyone to work together in kind of a unified way. Still listening to all the input, but you've got to manage a lot of different ideas. With a solo game, it's just your ideas, but you might be limited now by the fact that you did not see something that you could have done that would have made this a much better move. And so it changes the game pretty interestingly. It's a nice tension between collaboration, what you get out of it, and what you get in control but lose in insight. So that's what I think is really fascinating about the solo game. And it has just as satisfying an ending, because in the end, it's a puzzle game. So if you do the puzzle well, you're going to win, unless you take some bad luck and you didn't expect the dice to breach when you rolled them, and no, that's just what happened. But in any case, yeah, it's a fascinating game, and I think James did an amazing job with it. And it's been fun to work with him side by side as we continued to develop and add some new cards and some other thinking. Chris says, "I'm looking forward to just playing this. It looks so fun." Me too. I can't wait till all of you have a chance to play it. I think the game really shines. As much as the table appeal, it looks cool, but playing it is where this game really, really kills it. It's involving throughout the entire process. It's it's engaging. There's no downtime between turns, and you have to kind of scratch your head to win this game and figure things out. These player characters, by the way, there are no like medium meh kind of abilities. These are all super powerful abilities. So we had taken a look at this guy, but let me just show you some other guys. So this one, can I do it this way? There we go. So the always on ability, if you take 3 different actions on your turn, you can take a 4th different action. That's a free action every turn if you can pull it off. And so often with these kind of abilities, your teammates have to help you get there, have to set you up to let those things happen. So sometimes you'll sacrifice a piece of your turn in order to make sure theirs goes off. So that's pretty interesting also. Then their action retool, swap a cube in your lab with a primed cube. Amazing. Like that's no joke. So I might have a cube that I can no longer use, but more importantly, we might have like a stack of 6s down here. Oh, we can't even see them. Let me sorry, everybody. Let's say there's a stack of 4s. La, 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 la. So I can just say, oh, you know what? I'm going to take this 1, which I don't need, put that down here, take a 4. Maybe now it's letting me set up a new set or a run. But more importantly, it's a way that I can reduce risk. I can, bring things down and control this area. So, super powerful ability. Whereas this guy, Demolitions Expert. So let's get a look at him. Whenever you adjust a cube in your lab, adjust a prime cube as well. So again, terrific. Both things you can do, but here it's 2 for 1. Action, detonate once per turn, destroy a primed cube that matches an identical cube in your lab. So just by having the identical cube, blow something up, reduce that risk. So really, like, all of these characters are well balanced, super powerful. They've got great abilities, and it makes you feel like if I wasn't at this table doing the things that I'm doing, you guys probably wouldn't win, because you know that you're having a major impact on the game with these abilities. So anyway, just some of the things that I love about Tesseract. And so I hope that you'll take a look at the Tantrum House video that we've got on the site. They did a playthrough with three players. We also have a solo playthrough that was done as well. So take a look at those. It really gives you a sense of how the game operates and the type of challenge that people are seeing. Oh, I'm sorry. Dicky says, is it possible to run out of cubes? So yes, it is. And that is a losing condition. If the Tesseract is completely deprived of all its cubes, that's game over. So so you do have to manage how much you take off versus, how much you need to leave on there just to win. But it is a delicate balance. And that's why, again, being able to transfer cubes between labs is so important. Managing how many cubes are actually in the pool around the table, especially with 4 players, that could be a lot of cubes that are no longer on here. And if everyone fills up with 6, yeah, okay, good luck. You're not going to make it. So let's see. Other questions out there. It could be about Tesseract. It could be about Boop or any of the other things we got going. You ask questions as we're going. But we do have some more things that we're going to be hopefully unlocking. And of course, the other big thing is that we have a pledge level that features these amazing metal dice. Now, there's a story about the metal dice. I never intended to have metal dice as part of this game. But when I prototyped it, I wanted all these cool symbols, like, on the dice set that I was showing off to people. And actually, at that time, the cheapest way to do it that was going to be durable was I etched a set of metal dice. And that's how I was showing it. Well, everyone who held those dice and used them in this game was like, "Oh my god, I can't imagine not playing it with these amazing metal dice." It's like, yeah, but it's not. I mean, they're very expensive. It's 64 metal dice. It's like, well, like, what are you talking? How expensive? It's like, well, it cost me $120 to make these dice, but we could get them, right? Was almost everyone's reaction. I was like, sure, yeah. I mean, I could find a way to make like onesies and twosies. So if you really wanted them, I could do it. But everyone was really excited about the metal dice. So I talked to my printer. I found a great way to get them done. And so as a result, what honestly would have been like $128, I got chipped down to 80. So not that that's cheap, but it's a $50 savings almost to what it normally costs to get 64 metal dice. And I don't think you can even find them for that price if you got just metal stock D6s, with just the regular pips on them. You still couldn't do it for that price. So it's a pretty good deal. And they look sensational. Just go to the page, you'll see them. But then again, we've also got we've already unlocked 2 new characters, a bunch of new action cards and containment cards, and we got a couple other exciting things coming as well. So if you have not backed, I encourage you to do so. You can just take a look at Tesseract on Kickstarter, and yeah, so that is a lot of the excitement going on here. Now we are working on games for the future as well, including a very wild game, which is a it is a party-style guessing game that gives a role-playing experience, and a pretty robust one at that. It's called RPG Party, and that is going to be coming up next year. So just a little taste of something, and you're like, "Oh, that sounds crazy." And it's like, well, you'd be correct. It is pretty crazy, but I'll save going deeper into that for another session. But that is going to be another super fun game, which I think you're going to appreciate. Dickie says, "I think backer number 1 should get a free set of metal." Dickie, is that you? Are you backer number 1? Pretty sure you are. You're. If you're not, you're like top number 5 in almost all the campaigns. So I thank you to you. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for joining me, and have yourself a great week. I'll be back here probably again later this week. I'm going to try to get James on here. We're going to do a little Q&A on the game and about its development, and just have more of a conversation. This was kind of like just giving you my personal excitement and insights onto the gameplay a little bit, but it'd be fun I think just to kind of open up the floor to questions and talk about how this game started and where it can even go from here. So anyway, have yourself a great week, and we will see you soon. Thanks so much, everybody.